85 to 90% of the people admit that they procrastinate. In students, 30% of their time they admit that they procrastinate. So it's like 8 hours of 24 hours a day. The one thing about procrastination is that not that people do not do anything during the time, but is that they do a lot of things. They involve themselves in short, rewarding actions, which are unnecessary for what they are planning that want to do. So my first tip is go to some place where you are quiet, close your eyes and just do nothing for 15 to 20 minutes. It seems like counterintuitive, but it is not, because when we go and just relax ourselves, do some breathing, just stay quiet and start thinking about the big problem or project we want to do, we are more likely to lower our anxiety, we are more likely to relax ourselves, and by thinking about what we're going to do, we actually do it. Another factor that influences people to procrastinate is too much motivation. Let there be a case where I take 10 people and I say to them, you have to just throw once a basketball into a basket. Maybe they will do like 4 of them and 6 will miss. If I were to give them $1, if they would score, then maybe this would increase their motivation and they would score more. It would be like 6 out of 10. And if I were to give them $5 for each shot, maybe it would increase a little bit more. There would be much more motivation. It would take more seriously. But still, it's like $5. It's nothing bad if they lose it, but it's something good if they win it. So they may score more. They would be like 7 out of 10. But if I were to give them $1 million for the shot, then anxiety kicks in. Those people who start feeling anxiety, they would have too much motivation, and that's bad. Just like from the Yorks and Dawson law that we see here, the result would be less productive. So there is too much motivation, that's bad, and also too low motivation, which is associated in both cases with high anxiety. A critical factor on reducing procrastination is reducing anxiety. And during that, we also raise the dopamine level on our brain. There is a part in our brain called nucleus accumbens. Nucleus accumbens is considered as a neural interface between motivation and action. In other words, this part of the brain is what makes us feel good, what motivates us to do something, and also what makes us feel rewarded after accomplishing some goal. And it's this part of the brain that by producing dopamine more and more will lower the anxiety levels and motivate us to finish what we want to do. And this way we reduce procrastination. So coming to my next tip, when we are anxious because of having to deal with some big project, we have some big work to do for the future, but we have little time, or we have enough time but still it seems like too big for us. Instead of avoiding it with short rewarding action as listening to music, going out, having a talk, checking your phone, your emails, your messages, your Instagram. Instead, we chunk it down. We chunk the big project in our mind down into small parts. And we start working on those parts. And by finishing each part, that part in our brain, nucleus accumbens, will produce more and more dopamine each time, and we would see ourselves closer and closer to our goal, and we will feel more motivated, and the anxiety level will go down because we are feeling more closer to our goal, and also we will feel more motivated because still we are almost there, and we'll have this boost of rewarded that is produced by this part of our brain. So chunk it down, chunk all that image of that big project into small parts. 1, 2, 3, 5, 10, 11, 100. It doesn't matter. Chunk it down and go one by one until you go to the last one. So as conclusion, an overwhelming of emotions is what makes us procrastinate. It's what motivates us to procrastinate. Relaxing ourselves, chunking the big project down, And going about doing those small projects, small parts of that big project, is what reduces the procrastination, the anxiety, and builds more motivation to us, builds more dopamine, builds more rewarded feelings that motivates us to go and do what we have to do and reduces our procrastination. So that's it for today. See you in next video, and subscribe and like if you find it helpful, and comment if you have any question.